How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Foggins, Media Corner, back again with a brand new video for today, and to continue on with my review of The Last of Us series. Of course, I'm here to review episode 6. Now, this episode was directed by Jasmila, Zbanic, and in this episode, after what we saw at the end of episode 5, which was a gut-wrenching ending to that episode, we see this episode is set 3 months after the last episode, in which this episode is set during winter, and we see Joel and Ellie continue on their journey to get to the Fireflies. But for Joel, he's trying to find his brother Tommy so he can ask him to basically protect Ellie for him, because Joel feels like he can't really do it anymore because he is struggling with himself, for him getting older, as well as with his health problems and all that, and also with himself still struggling with the tragedy that he went through with his daughter. And from there we get to see a very emotional glimpse, just like in the game, where we see Joel and Tommy having an emotional conversation, as well as where we see Ellie discovering about Joel's past with his daughter and what he went through and all that. So that's pretty much the synopsis for episode 6 of The Last of Us. Now, the last episode I thought was a fantastic episode. I thought it was both intense, really thrilling, but also really powerful as well in terms of the emotions that it had, mostly towards the ending of that episode. And so for this episode, like I said, this one is set pretty differently than the last episode, because this one is set 3 months after the last episode, and it's set during winter time, just like in the original game. And I did watch this episode just after I watched episode 5, and after watching this whole episode here, I can definitely tell you guys that this episode was really terrific here. But I wouldn't say it was as fantastic like the last episode, but I still really found this episode to be really terrific here, but also really deep as well in terms of its emotions here as well. The things that I liked about this episode was the overall look of Jackson, which I found the overall look of it to be absolutely beautiful here in terms of the production designs and the overall set of the episode here, which I thought all that here was very well detailed, and it looked absolutely incredible to watch here. And it's even set during Christmas time, and I thought that as well was also really gorgeous to see here. And this episode plays much more deep with its emotions here, where we see the characters having really powerful emotional conversations here. We get to see Joel having a conversation with his brother Tommy, and I found that moment to be really powerful here, but really emotional as well. Like, it did pull me heartstrings while I was watching the episode, because I really felt for Joel a lot in this episode, because you see him struggling a lot in this episode, because he just feels like he can't really do this anymore by protecting Ellie to get to the Fireflies, and you can just see him like he just wants help and all that, and that's the reason why he wanted to find his brother, so he can ask for his brother to do the job for him. And for that, and like I said, for that moment, it is really powerful and pretty emotional here. And we even get to see a moment where we see Maria having a conversation with Ellie about Joel's daughter Sarah, and that moment was really powerful as well, where we see Ellie discovering more about Joel's past and all that. And once when we get to see her having a conversation with Joel about where they discuss about loss, in which for that moment in this episode, it was really, really powerful, and it was recreated so well done here, just like in the game, because in the game it was really powerful, and in this episode it's just exactly like the game here. And just like I said, it is really, really powerful, and really, really emotional here. Like, it did pull me heartstrings while I was watching the episode here. And I just like how this episode, how each one of these episodes does manage to recreate some of the stuff that we all know and love from the game, while it has some originality to it. Like, it does have some changes here, which I found every single one of these things in every episode just really well done here. However, there's one change here in this episode that did left me a bit iffy and all that while I was watching it, is where we see Joel getting injured here, and it is pretty differently like in the game here. In which when I saw it when I was watching this episode, I was just like, when I was watching it. But still, though, in the end, guys, episode 6 of The Last of Us was a terrific episode, but it was also really deep here with its emotions here. So that's pretty much all I have to say about episode 6 of The Last of Us. I'm going to give The Last of Us episode 6 4.5 out of 5. Like I said, I did find this episode really terrific here, but it was also really deep as well in terms of its emotions here. And despite having one little issue with it, I still managed to find myself really digging deep with this episode here. So thank you guys so much for watching my review of The Last of Us episode 6. And let me know what you think of this episode if you have seen this already or just recently checked it out. Did you really love this, or was this not really your favorite episode? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Foggins Media Corner signing off.